50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome into a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 401. Today is May the 22nd, 2024. As always, I'm your host, D-Rock, and joining me, as always, is our NBA guru, my partner in crime, Elvis Acosta E. How you doing today, kid?
Dill, I'm doing great. Enjoyed a lovely day up here in Jersey. Hit the 80s today. Lovely weather. Uh, exciting basketball we saw in game one so far. Dill, let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we finally reached the 80s. It kind of felt like summer out there. It was amazing to see and feel, honestly, in New Jersey. But yeah, great game ones. We got overtime in the Boston and Indiana game. Timberwolves, they beat the defending champs in game 7. Let's start there. 98-90. I think it was honestly a tale of two halves. Denver, they opened up. They led at halftime. Minnesota really didn't shoot the ball all that well, especially Anthony Edwards, only 16 points, but they got enough from their two big men. Karl Anthony Towns had 23. Even Jalen McDaniels, 23 points as well. I think he was the X factor. Yeah, Naz Reid, again, giving you double digits off the bench, but unfortunate run, even though Jokic gave you 34, 19, and 7. My thing was 2 for 10 from 3. That wasn't, he was just saying fuck it at that point. Like, one of them's gonna go in, just one never really went in. Jamal Murray had a good game, 35 points as well, but Michael Porter Jr., they need double digits from someone. I mean, no one showed up. Aaron Gordon, 4 points. Michael Porter Jr. didn't show up the whole series, and Caldwell Pope only had 5 points. Christian Braun tried everything he could do, but just all in all, good series. Just, the better team won.
Yeah, Dill, give credit for the Timberwolves, though, to be honest. For the performance they was able to do, being down, 20 points with like what 10 minutes left in the third quarter. First, let's start with Denver. Jamal Murray had himself a great first half. Offensively, he took over the game. He gave Denver mostly that big lead. Jokic had himself a game as well. But like you said, nobody else really came along with them. Aaron Gordon, he had a good series, but game 7, he didn't show up, only 4 points. Michael Porter Jr., he had a poor series overall. He didn't show up. Caldwell Pope didn't show up. Christian Braun. Christian Braun gave you the only 5 bench points in total that you was able to get in the game 7 at home. So that just wasn't enough. It's unfortunate the two big dogs show up, but Jamal Murray was honestly in, like Anthony Edwards said after the game, he was in handcuffs in the second half. First half he had a huge first half. Second half kind of was in handcuffs. So give the defensive side of the ball for Minnesota their credit, especially in the second half. Though now I think we gotta give McDaniels and Karl Anthony Towns some flowers. Though Karl Anthony Towns had one of his best games of his career. I understand didn't give you like a huge 30 piece, but the fact that Karl Anthony Towns was able to get you 12 rebounds, I think that's big. 23 points, but the 23 points was efficient. Though I understand you former 3-point shooting champion. He shot poorly from the 3-point. He shot 1 for 6 still, but 8 for 14 from the field. You could live with that. He basically went 100 for 100 from the field. He missed the rest of the shot from the 3-point line. So McDaniels was huge, especially during that third quarter comeback. Karl Anthony Towns McDaniels was the core of that comeback. So give him credits there. He was huge. He hit a three for 4 threes, mostly all in the second half. Huge. Mike Conley hit that huge corner 3 to give him the lead in the fourth quarter. And then Anthony Edwards, I understand he had a poor game, but that huge 3 to go up 10 with about 3 minutes left, give him the Bulls. He kept getting double team all night. He was able to facilitate the ball pretty well as well. I thought, didn't give you the high point average, and I'm pretty sure his over under was 27 and a half. But the fact that he was able to give you 16, 8, and 7 and still give you, all that energy and defensive prowl and effort, especially in the second half when he didn't have it going on the offensive side. gotta give them credit. So give Timberwolves they were simply the better team, and even Jokic
Yeah.
said it in the pros game. So great series by the Timberwolves. After they lost 3 straight, I didn't think they were able to do it, but they
Yeah.
proved me wrong.
Going on the road, game 7, both road teams going on the road and winning, showing adversity, first time in the playoffs for Ant-Man, and he goes out there and delivers. And like you said, he didn't even have that good of a game, but I think just the energy he plays on defense just energizes this whole team. Everybody was in double figures in Minnesota. You couldn't say the same. No matter, even if Joker and Murray went for 30 each, they need someone. What does Denver have to do this offseason? Because, a lot of people said this team wasn't as good as the team that won last year. I would think you would agree as well. They didn't
Yeah, yeah.
have enough depth. Who do they need? Because they don't need a superstar. I think they just need another solid piece.
Yeah, they just still to me personally, get Bruce Brown back, get Jeff Green back. And I think
Just
no,
run
no,
it back.
yeah, all seriousness though, all you needed. Think about it. If Jeff Green and Bruce Brown, let's just say they played in game 7, if they combine for just 15 points, which I think they'll get you or more, they win the game. So to me, it just comes down like that. Christian Brown, you had 3 bench players, you had an 8-man rotation, you had 3 bench players. Your 3 bench players only gave you 5 points. Say if instead of Reggie Jackson, you have Bruce Browns in those minutes. I think he gets
Yeah.
you over the hump. I think Jeff Green in his solid minutes, he'll probably get you over the hump. So I think they're just a one role player away. They're, like I said, there's another name. I keep seeing his name, Norman Powell from the Clippers. He's a bucket getter. He's somebody that I trust late in games that could get me a bucket. So you just need somebody like that who's gonna that you can trust and is not scared in the moment, who can get you a bucket. Even somebody like a Chris Paul, he could give you good minutes down the stretch, and he's not scared of the moment. If he's healthy, though, we know he's gonna knock down the big shots. Another name, I know he's not in the league no more, but they need somebody like Sean Livingston, who's gonna give you 10 to 15 points a night, play solid defense, and just be a solid role player off the bench. They
You
need
know what I
somebody like
think
that.
they're missing? I think they're missing a little physicality as well. I don't think they're the most physical team. I think Minnesota put too many bodies on them and actually wore them out. Jokic only missed 1 minute of the game 7. He was gassed. They need another person, and I don't think they're a big body team. Minnesota has 3 people they could throw at you, and then Naz Reid off the bench. They give people nightmares. That's what I think they need size.
Yeah, I agree, Dale. Definitely need another big man. We know during the championship run last year, that pretty sure they had JaVale McGee as
Yeah.
the backup. So he was another body, and he's still in the league as well. So they just need a body up there to give Jokic a break. And when he goes on that break, they're not losing time of possession or losing whatever minutes he's out by 4, 6, 8, 10 points. So by the time Jokic come back, whatever lead he was in, or whatever lead they had when he was in, it evaporated by the time he came back in. So it all depends. But me personally, I think they just need one other off the bench bucket getter.
Yeah.
To me, just a bucket better, a bucket getter, and then just another big man for rotation purposes. There's no need, especially with Jokic. I wouldn't say back end of his prime, but he's not a young man anymore. Definitely want somebody that could take those minutes down a little bit. You wouldn't want Jokic, especially during the season, playing more than like 35 minutes a night anyway.
And as much as I like KCP, I think they need another shooting guard too.
Oh yeah. Maybe
He's not
KCP's
it.
time's done, or they'll maybe sign a starter and maybe KCP comes off the bench, because I still think he's valuable to give you big minutes. Think about it. Let's just, for example, if TJ McCollum was on the Denver Nuggets for Game 7, I think they win that game.
Yeah, I agree. It's also they blew a 20-point lead as well.
Yeah.
That I think that can't get overshadowed as well.
No, but
So
that's what I'm saying. They blew that 20-point lead because they, like you said, Murray, he ran out of gas. He gave it all his all in the first half. Joker ran out of gas. They needed that third offensive option.
yeah, and
So
usually in the first round it was Michael Porter Jr. and then
yeah.
he I don't know where he's been. We're still looking for him, but
and in that 3-game winning streak in this series, it was Aaron Gordon.
yeah, So they need someone. Christian Braun tried to do everything he could, but he was literally the only person to give you anything off the bench. But yeah, I think the better team did win. I love A-Rod getting pumped on the sideline, part owner. Now spinning it forward for them, for Minnesota, they are going to host Dallas Mavericks. Right now, they are the series leader at -168, plus 142 for the Dallas Mavericks. The series spread is 1.5. It's not 2.5 like this series in the East. -1.5 for the Timberwolves is at plus 122, and then plus 1.5 for the Mavericks is at -150. Who do you like in this series, kid?
This one is a tough series to pick. Me personally, I like the Mavs. My heart tells me the Mavs, but my eyes tell me the Timberwolves. The one thing I can honestly say is Timberwolves number one defensive team in the league. No doubt about it. The Mavs say what you want to say. Since the trade deadline, they've been I think top 8 defensive team. We've seen the effort Luka has been given on the defensive side of the ball all playoff long. We see how Kyrie's not giving you 30 points, 25 points a night because he's trying so hard defensively. I just feel like, Luka's going to give you what he does. PJ Washington can still, do what he gives you. He could go average 20 points a game in the series. Who knows? I feel like Minnesota, their time could possibly be right now. But I just feel like Luka, Kyrie, the fact that they're healthy this deep, I think they're gonna seize the opportunity. Not saying Timberwolves won't. All I'm saying is I just feel like Kyrie and Luka, they could do it right now. They could do it right now. I feel like this is not saying this is the only chance they got, but this might be the only chance they have to win a championship.
So you're leaning Mavs with the value. Mavs in 6, Mavs in 7. The total number of games is 5.5. I love the over, but it is chalky at -170. I was going to take I thought it would go 7. I do think these teams are closer than I think the odds project. Yeah. So if you want to take the value, I agree. I think it is with the Mavs. But I do think just like they did with Denver Nuggets, I think at a certain point, the bodies, the physicality, they're going to wear on Dallas. And they got PJ, Derek Jones Jr., they got some bodies as well. But I just think the point, and they have Ant-Man. So I just think like Minnesota is just more of a complete team. I do think it goes 6-7. So would you take Dallas in 6 or Dallas in 7? Dallas in 6 is at plus 460. Dallas in 7 is at 750.
To be honest, though, I think if it goes 7, it goes to Minnesota. Just because we just saw Minnesota knock off the defending champs in 7. I think if Dallas win this series, it has to be in 6. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think they could win a game 7 in Minnesota? Absolutely. But if Dallas wants to advance to the finals, I think it has to be in 6.
Yeah, right now that is the favorite is Minnesota to win in 7 at plus 400, which kind of makes sense. But I love the over 5.5. I probably would lean with Minnesota. Who would you take to win the MVP? Luka, Kyrie, maybe a dark horse?
To be honest, it has to be Luka just because he might just average a triple-double. But it wouldn't shock me if Kyrie hits, has a couple huge fourth quarters in the series and he ends up winning it. So I think Luka, just because he will average a triple-double, or Kyrie. If not, it's gonna be Ant-Man though. Just because Ant-Man's the big dog. I don't see Karl-Anthony Towns, McDaniels, or somebody else who's gonna be consistent enough in the series, who's gonna have a solid stat line like 23, 8, and 5, who's gonna be a little better stat line that's probably gonna give you at least 27, 5, and 6, something like that. So I just feel like it's Ant-Man's award to lose unless Karl-Anthony Towns, McDaniels, or somebody like that just balls out and just takes over the series single-handedly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if Minnesota does wind up winning, I think they'll give it to Anthony Edwards. He is the favorite at -145. Second is Luka at plus 165. Kyrie, you could get at 14-1. He's tied with Karl-Anthony Towns. I think it's a nice one as well. Maybe even like, it's so out there, and he probably won't win if they get it. But like a guy like Jaden McDaniels, who plays both sides. he's 150 to 1. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but like the
insane.
only way he does if he hits like the game winner. in
I
1 second,
know,
you know,
and they probably would give it
or he
to
gets
Anthony
the game
Edwards.
winning block. You know, it
Yeah,
has to be something like that.
yeah, kind of like Andre Iguodala,
Dollar,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But 150 to 1, I think it's just calling my name. But it looks like the Boston Celtics might take game 1. I don't want to jinx anything, but they're
Yeah,
31 seconds.
they just got a steal off Pascal Siakam's drive. They got a
Yeah,
4-point lead. Looking like
I
there's
mean,
no
yeah, we
foul.
could,
Looking like the Celtics. You know,
yeah,
let's just
yeah, we
go.
could get into
Let's
it.
attack the game. You know, go give Indiana Pacers their credit. You know, to me, they fought a way better game than I anticipated. You know, when the Celtics jumped out to that 12-0 lead, I said, "Here we go." You know, another game 1 blowout by the Boston Celtics, but hey, you know, Indiana went on a small run. Miles Turner started cooking. First half, 18 points. I think he hit what 3 or 4 threes just in the first half. He was cooking. Tyrese Halliburton, I think he had like 14 first half points as well. Overall, you know, Indiana, they fall back. You know, the Jalen Brown had a huge first half. Jason Tatum did his thing. Al Horford, Al Horford's having a great playoff series, not a great playoff run, not for
He's
nothing.
been in so many playoff
Yeah,
games.
he's been in so many. So you know, he lives for these moments. So give credit to Al. To me, he had a great game. And then Jason Tatum, you know, I don't know if you took the over for rebounds once again. 12 rebounds,
Yeah, it's
34
a
points.
moneymaker.
Yeah, he's just grown up. You know, I think we got to, like I said last series, we got to give Jason Tatum his credit just for maturing as a Boston player, realizing it's just not giving you the 30. It's also, you know, attacking the boards and getting the glass as well. Once again, he leads his team in rebounds. How many times I'm going to say that, Dill? So
Yeah.
I just appreciate that from him. Holiday, 4 from 8 for 3, 10 for 16 for the field, 26 points. Like I said, Jalen Brown, he had a huge game. Most of his buckets came in the first half. You know, didn't really get much from the bench. You know, the center, Cornette, to me, he played valuable minutes, you know, especially second and third quarter. Pritchard, he did okay. But overall, you know, I was just surprised that the Pacers took the smack in the face, especially with that 12-0 start. And then was able to fight back. You know, Pascal Siakam had a huge game. I told you before the series started, I think he'll have an advantage, especially down low until Persoff Porzingis returns. Just because you don't want Big Al in foul trouble early, just because you're gonna have to play small throughout the rest of the game. So I feel like Miles Turner and Siakam, they're gonna be huge in this series. We saw them; they had huge games. Miles Turner 9 for 13 from the field, 3 for 4 from the 3-point line. So 23 and 10. Pascal 24 and 12. You know, Tyrese Halliburton, he had a huge game deal. You know, the Pacers could have easily snuck out and won this game in Boston. The game is not over yet, but I'm gonna just say the Boston has a 1-0 lead. You know, OG Toppin had a great game off the bench. TJ McCollum once again as well. So not I know I'm on record saying that this series is going in 5 though. After what I witnessed tonight in game 1, I wouldn't be shocked if this series goes 6 or 7. Maybe not 7, but definitely 6, just because the Pacers matched up better than I anticipated. Pascal Siakam having the success I knew he could possibly have, but the role players, Neesmith, Nimhard, those guys are showing up. They're playing these huge games in Boston. We saw them damn near go perfect from the field in Game 7 at the Garden. Hell, they playing as almost as good as at TD Garden at Game 1 against the Boston Celtics. So if they're gonna keep playing like this, damn for sure the Indiana Pacers have a shot against the Boston Celtics.
But haven't they done this every series? They lose at least one where it's kind of like, oh, did they fool us? What if they, they take it easy game 1 and then they kind of just figure it out? I wouldn't be surprised, would you?
Nah, just because we saw them flex their muscles. They
Yeah.
started the game 12-0 run. You know, they look
Yeah.
dominant. Defensive. Al Horford, I think, had 2 blocks in the first 3 minutes.
The thing I'll say,
They challenged a play in the first minute of the game.
clean
They
block
were on.
too.
Yeah, it was clean.
Yeah.
They were ready to play.
I
They were
yeah.
rested. They were ready to play, Dale. Trust me. If the Pacers come out, just for example, they don't come out and they lose 12-0 to start the game. This game doesn't go to overtime.
Yeah.
So I expect. I'm not saying I expect the Pacers to play better. All I'm saying is I expect the Pacers to start off better and not give up a 12-0 run to start the game.
Yeah, they weathered the storm. They got punched in the mouth quick, but they weathered the storm. They took that timeout when they were down 12-0. They kind of figured some things out. And it was a whole different second quarter as well. They cut the lead. The bench players continued to shine. Two in double figures. That's what you need. Obi Toppin and TJ McCollum, bench Shepard, he gets some minutes in as well. But yeah, I think your point on Al Horford, I love Al Horford. Don't get me wrong, and
Yeah,
I want to see
Dominicano.
him. Yeah, I want to see him win a championship. But defensively, he's a liability. The whole fourth quarter, they were going at him one-on-one. I think they need Porzingis back soon, which all indications said before the game, maybe game 4.
Yeah, down the
Or
stretch. You
yeah,
could start Al Horford, but at this age, nobody. We're not faulting him if he's running out of gas, especially if the game goes into overtime. Though you
yeah,
can't be asked. Al Horford played 39 minutes at what 39, 38. He's in great shape, but there's no reason Al Horford, who was on the bench for the majority of the year, he was just giving
yeah.
15 to 20 minutes a night. Now you asking him to jump up 20 extra minutes a night. It's hard. So he definitely was a little defensive liability down the stretch still, but what more could you ask for?
He
You
was
can't have
also throwing his body on the floor on
flow.
the baseline. Yeah, I know. I love Big Al. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, as much as I love him, sometimes I wish he wasn't on the court because they went right at him. And gotta give credit to Indiana. They identify the mismatches on not every series, but a lot of the series. Pascal Siakam has been eating. Miles Turner has really turned it around, 3 for 4 from downtown. Halliburton, he had a double-double with 25 and 10. And like I said, the bench always steps up. I think they started out pretty slow. I was surprised they had this extra gear, because I thought playing a game 7, having a quick turnaround, I thought they were going to show up the 0-12, the first 4 minutes. I thought that was the team that was going to show up, but they kind of weathered the
I thought
storm.
the game was going to be over, to be honest. And then, slowly behold, Pacers was right in there.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, Jason Tatum, like I said, he's really developed, and not to just as pure scorer, but crashing the boards offensively, defensively as well. It's so refreshing to see, a small forward really clean up the boards. Like I feel like he plays like an old school kind of player, in my opinion. But 34 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals as well. Everybody was in double figures. Al Horford had 15. Drew Holiday had 28. Only thing on Horford, again, I don't want to nitpick, but he shouldn't be shooting 12 threes. That's also a problem.
One thing I would say, Dill, at least 5 or 6 wide open. Like they were given. I understand. I agree with you. But if they're gonna give him the wide open 3, why not? Why not?
No, I get.
And he
I
did
get
start
it.
off hot. Like the 3 he made were all in the first half. He did start off hot.
And once Porzingis comes back, it's gonna help their depth. And the bench hasn't really produced, but they play both sides. Cornette, he plays a lot of defense. Peyton Pritchard, just because he doesn't have the numbers on the box score, doesn't mean he's not really impacting the game. I really think he's been playing well, but it just went final. Boston 133-128. I cashed on the only play I gave out was the over. Didn't need overtime, but we go 1-0. I should have went on Jason Tatum rebounds. As long as it's under double digits, 9, 8.5, I see.
Even 10.5. He's averaging more than I think now he's averaging 11.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then I cashed, so we go 2-0 for
Nice.
game 1. I cashed a +10. I said even the +8.5, I love it. If it got to 7.5, I don't know. Even if it got to 7.5, it covered. Shout out to Indiana. Great game. No, I didn't expect this much a level of a competition, especially for game 1. If it was a game to get blown out, I was gonna say it will be game 1. I still thought 10 points was still a lot, but definitely gonna be a better series moving forward than I think me and you and I thought it would be.
Game 2 line just opened up. Boston laying 9.5 plus 9.5 for the 3 series. Over unders at 225 and went up 5 points. I might take the over again.
Yeah,
Real quick, we got some news that broke. Shams broke 2023-24 NBA All Rookie Team. Shout out Victor Wembanyama, man. What a he made history. I mean, we'll talk about NBA All Defensive Team because he made that as well. But first team for the rookies, Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, Brandon Miller. Shout out my boy from Bama, Jaime Jaquez, and Brandon Pazinski from Golden State. Second team, Derek Lively. Second. Jared Jackson, the second, Keon George, Amen Thompson, and Kaysen Wallace. Surprised by any of the names for the all rookie team?
Not at all. The dude from the Warriors, to me, he deserved to be the number one. So I'm glad he was able to get there. Crucial minutes, big minutes from him. So from the first team, I like. Second team, it's up there. It's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone got snubbed for the first team. They're the five best rookies, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Czech Rome would have ran away with Rookie of the Year if there wasn't a guy named Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. But he made All NBA defensive team in his first year with Rudy Gobert, Victor Wembanyama, Bam Adebayo, which I hate the Heat, but I'm glad he got on because I think he's another guy that goes really under the radar and he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Bam Adebayo is a great player. That just hurt coming out of my mouth. Anthony Davis and then Herb Jones. Shout out Herb Jones getting first team. Second team, we got Alex Caruso. He's also made first team plenty of times. Drew Holiday, Jaden McDaniels, Jalen Suggs, and Derek White. You like those for the All NBA?
One thing I don't disagree with, the selections. One thing I don't like that is first team is just all big men. The second team is all guards. I just feel like with all the offensive talents that the guards have to defend, to me, one or two deserve to be first team at least. Not saying that the big men don't deserve, because the last 5 reigning MVPs have been big men. All respect there, but all I'm saying is a guard or two deserve to be first team. That's all.
I will say I agree. I think at least one. But can you also admit that the league is kind of changing where it's kind of centered around big guys and wing players now as opposed to guard centric, right?
That's why I threw that in there. I understand the last 5 MVPs have been the big man, but I just feel like at least a guard or two deserves to make the first team. That's all. Like
if you had to throw one in, who would it be? I'll give it to Drew Holiday.
Either Daniels or Holiday or
Yeah.
Suggs. I think Suggs played.
Yeah, they had a pretty good year too. I low key too. Alex Caruso's a great defender.
Yeah, Caruso as well.
They're all deserving
that's
of it.
I just feel like a guard or two deserve to be if you have an All-Star game, you're not about to have 4 or 5 centers on the floor. You're not. You're gonna have a couple guards. You're gonna have a small forward. You're gonna have a center. Why the all defensive team all power forwards and center? That's all. That's my team. If you're gonna have an all team, it should be a team, not just.
Yeah. No, I agree. I can't wait to see the other awards too coming out in a few days, so I'll be sure to mention that in the coming episodes. But we got some NFL news as well. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins, he has not signed the franchise tenure. He did not show up to organized activities this week. He can't rejoin the team until he signs that tenure.
Good for him.
I mean, I guess just first question: do you see him signing and? Do you see him figuring out, like, where does he play this season? Because I honestly don't think it's trending towards playing with Cincinnati.
He's gonna sign a deal. It's just when, where, and how. So, the draft is already over. I thought he would have, at least found a home, something like the AJ Brown situation from 2 years ago. Trade a first round, second round pick or something, and land somewhere. That didn't happen. That's what I thought would have happened. Me personally, you got to see what's out there. What's a team that could possibly be a wide receiver away? The Bengals are in a tough situation because, Tyler Boyd just signed with Tennessee, I believe. Yeah, I think Tennessee. You're not about to just let Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins walk away. I understand you can let one walk away. To me, I would let T. Higgins possibly trade him away, give Tyler Boyd a nice, friendly deal, and then sign Jamar Chase for a long-term deal. That core was working. that core got to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying it can't again, but that core worked. When healthy, that core was working. I would have tried my best if I was in the front office to keep that core together. T. Higgins, he's a great wide receiver though. He deserves upwards $25-30 million a year. When Jamar Chase contract is up, he deserves upwards $30 to $40 million a year. I just feel like the Cincinnati Bengals got either one, bite the bullet, try to sign him for at least a 2-year deal, 80 million, 75 million, something like that, or just cut your losses now and trade him away for a 4th, 5th round pick because you're
Yeah,
not going to pay him.
Yeah, they got to do something because I'm looking at their roster right now, and outside of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins,
Yeah.
I mean,
Remember,
they
they
don't
lost
really
Joe
have it.
Mixon. They
Yeah.
lost Joe Mixon. So you're losing a lot of familiarity weapons of Joe Burrow. So I don't want to lose another one. You're already down Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. You don't want to be down T. Higgins as well. Also, Joe Burrow's coming back from injury. I understand he's healthy now, but he's coming back from injury. You don't want to go through a whole training camp and preseason just trying to get in rhythm. You want to be in rhythm already.
Yeah. They do have a tight end, Mike Gesicki, your boy. They signed, but yeah, outside of that, man, I think they're gonna have to bite the bullet and pay both of them because at the end of the day, he's standing on his ground. He's not gonna take a discount, which I don't think he should.
Yeah,
because he's the number one in 90% of the teams in the NFL. My problem is you have arguably the second best receiver right next to him, and he's gonna want a lot of money.
More.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're in a tough situation. If you do trade him, you got to get a wide receiver. You have to.
No, but that's my thing where I'm confused that if you didn't trade him draft night where you could draft a wide receiver with your third or second or third pick to replace him, what are you gonna do now? That's my thing. So that's why I thought he was gonna get traded draft night. That's what makes sense. Trade him, get a second, third, even a 1st round pick for him. Who knows? But now I think you just gotta bite the bullet. You have to.
Do you see a scenario where he just doesn't play? Like, hypothetically, if he doesn't sign with the Bengals or sign that franchise tender, teams are going to have to trade for him. Do you see a team actually trade for him at the start, or they're going to wait for an injury and kind of overpay him?
I think come training camp or preseason, there's always going to be some type of injury. Is it going to be some wide receiver out there that's going to get a toe injury or something that's going to sideline them to week 5 or something like that, where you need somebody to step in right away, a true number 1 wide receiver. T. Higgins will be that guy. So it all depends on which scenarios moving forward. If you tell me, for example, something that could work out, but if you tell me, Brandon Ayuk just traded somewhere, maybe the 49ers.
Yeah, that's a team.
Something like that. It all depends what scenarios work out, especially come, preseason around that time when, some tic-tac, paddywhack injuries come along where, your star wide receivers might miss the first 2-3 games of the season.
When we do our futures mid-July, early August, gun to your head, is he on an NFL roster?
He's on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. Does he get a deal done by them?
Yeah.
Okay, by July.
Because Cincinnati Bengals can't afford to either, one, not have him on the field and just have the roster spot filled and hoping he just comes back. I just don't know. I just feel like
they're on the clock.
They're on the clock. They got to bite the bullet.
Yeah, they did. Did you see Joe Burrow's hair? The flow is crazy. I'm pro Joe Burrow. I'm a fan.
You think Tom in 05.
He needs the weapons and he has to stay healthy. That is my concern.
No, he has to stay healthy. The weapons is the weapons. He has to stay healthy.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. But they're on the clock. They got about Little over a month and a half. I'd say about 5 to 6 weeks. They got to get a deal done. I hope so. Also, the report's ridiculous. We're Justin Jefferson to the Jets, him, Florham Park. Guys, do your homework. The owner of the Minnesota Vikings, he has a home in Florham Park. It's a beautiful suburban town here in New Jersey. That's why he was there. Honestly, I think he was there to get a deal done with Minnesota, not to be traded. Wait till you see what Justin Jefferson's about to get. He's about to break the bank.
Bag. He's about to
Yeah.
get the bag.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see that. But yeah, all the Jet fans hyping up, trying to get relax. Like our quarterback used to say, relax. All right, kid. Before we get to our plays, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry on a Saturday watching the NBA playoffs, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get to it. Game 1, Western Conference Finals, Wednesday, 8:30 in Minnesota. Timberwolves laying 4 at home, -176 on the money line, +148 for the Mavericks. Over under is at 207. I'll start this one off. Give me the over 207. I think this is a short number. I know Minnesota, great defense, like you mentioned earlier, #1 defense in the playoffs so far, but you know this Dallas team could score. Luka, he's probably going to give you a triple double as well. I would sprinkle a little on that, but I just think over is going to be a fast paced game. I'm going to take the over. I see a similar situation, just like game 1 in the Pacers Celtics game. I think we see a lot of high scoring up and down the court. So I'm going to go the over as my first play. What do you like here, kid?
Yo, give me the +4 for the Dallas Mavericks on the road. I expect this game to be a close nip and tuck game. You know, and then give me Derek Lively over 7.5 points at +100. Whatever you could get it at, people, is definitely around there. Lively points is too short. To me, he been critical off the bench. He's been giving you around 8 to 12 points a night. He catches about 3 alley-oops. He's gonna get a couple putbacks. I think 7.5 is too disrespectful. I understand you got Nas Reed, Rudy Gobert, Cat, who plays great defense as well. Let's not forget that. But I just feel like 7.5 points is just too low, just because he gives a lot of effort, especially down low, and I think he'll get a lot of second chance opportunities. I also lean Kyrie Irving's over 21.5 points. I know Kyrie Irving, I'm not gonna say he's been struggling, but he's haven't been as aggressive offensively. Just say that. So I think in this series we might see that uptick in offense from Kyrie Irving. I think he's gonna take a little more shots, and I think if the Dallas Mavericks have any plans in advancing or even becoming champions, Kyrie Irving has to be that dude. Kyrie Irving has to take at least 20 shots a game. Kyrie Irving has to be a little more aggressive. Because if Kyrie and Luka average, let's just say 60, 70 plus a game, it's going to be very hard for any team to defeat them in that night. So, give me Dallas Mavericks +4, Derek Lively over 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rudy Gobert. Give me all of his rebound props. Minus over 12.5, minus at 120. At home, he's averaging 13 rebounds. At home, his last one, 14 boards. Then he had 14 again, and then 4. But he's been over it. He's averaging 13 rebounds in this series, second leading only behind Josh Hart. That's crazy. But outside of that, man, I love his rebound prop. I would even ladder it over 13, over 14. I think just this mismatch down low. I think, yeah, PJ Washington, he's gonna have his hands full, I think, with Cat. Who's gonna stop him? I just don't know, especially maybe not offensively, but on the glass, I think Rudy Gobert is going to get anything he wants. I think we see a huge rebounding game for him. So over 12.5, and I'm also going to take the over. Anything else on this game, or can we go to the next one, kid?
No, that's all though.
All right. And then Thursday, if you want to touch on it real quick, it's already gone down earlier in the episode. I told
Mm-hmm.
you it opened up at 9.5. It's gone down to 9. So money's coming in on the Pacers. Still plus 315 on the money line for the Pacers. Over unders at 224. Totals come down too at 225 to 224 in a matter of what? 20 minutes of us recording. I'm actually going to go the other side. I love the over again. I mean, we didn't even need overtime to get it this time. And, you know, I keep thinking regression is going to come for this Pacer team, but they continue to shoot well from the field. They're not getting to the line as much as I thought, but they're still shooting the lights out of the ball. I just don't see regression coming. I think both teams are going to get up and down the court. I'm going to take the over again.
Yeah, Dale. Give me the Pacers +9. I even see it right now. Might go down to 8.5. That's the number, people. I think the Pacers. Like I said,
We should have jumped on it 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, like I said, if there's a game they're gonna get blown out, it's game one. They had to get their feet wet. Maybe the bright lights was gonna be too big or something like that, and it clearly wasn't. I expect them to be better in game two. Boston Celtics, gotta even sprinkle a little something on the money line. The Celtics are 0-2 in game two for some reason. This playoffs, they lost to a Jimmy Butler less Heat team in game two. They lost to hurt. Well, no, not Donovan Mitchell was hurt,
Cavs.
but no Jarrett Allen Cavs team for games two.
Yeah.
This is a healthy Pacers team going into game two, and I love the +9. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Yeah. If you have any player props, Elvis will put them out on his action. Any player props for this one again? Because I know you hit on the over here in game one.
To be honest, I probably look at Pascal Siakam point prop again, just because I feel like he could definitely take advantage down low and have a mismatch. Especially we saw it today. Al Horford late in the game, especially in the fourth quarter, he just couldn't stick in front of Pascal. So you know what? I'm gonna take it official. Give me Pascal Siakam over 20.5 points. I expect him to have another huge game, Phil. I think he had 24, 26 tonight. Wouldn't shock me if he's at 25 plus.
I don't know if it's just me, but I think it's clear he's their best player offensively. Halliburton is good at passing the ball, but scoring a bucket, I don't think they have a better player than Pascal Siakam. That's just my opinion.
No, I understand. If I definitely need a bucket, like say if I'm drawing up a play that game is tied, 10 seconds left, I'm drawing up a play. I'll probably most likely draw it off to Pascal, depending on the matchup there. But Halliburton is he runs the team, Dale. He's the point guard. He's gonna give you 20 plus points a night. He's gonna give you 8 to 12 assists a game.
Yeah, so I get it.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't disagree with you just because Pascal Siakam is the bucket getter, but we can't deny Tyrese Halliburton is the big dog of the team.
Yeah, he's the floor general. No doubt about that. But let's transition to the Diamond Kid. We got 15 games here on a Wednesday. Big slate. I got about 4 plays I like. We got some day baseball, thankfully. I'll start us off in Cleveland. The Mets on the road taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Tristan McKenzie going for the Guardians. Jose Quintana going for the New York Mets. Minus 122 for the Guardians. Plus 104 for the Mets. Over under is at 8.5. Man, we got to just continue to fade the Mets. I mean, this team is just not good right now. The bullpen's kind of been shaken up a little bit as well. Forced to throw a lot of innings because the starting pitching hasn't done well. Just not looking good. 3-7 our last 10. And Cleveland just continues to dominate. Their bats are been doing well. I would say maybe look at the over. The Mets, they get in a lot of high-scoring games on the road. They're 16-7 towards the under. At home, though, they can't buy runs. So I would look towards the over because I just think pitching, they're going to give up a lot. Jose Quintana on the road is not good. And the Mets have been able to score some runs. They just can't hold anyone. So I would also look over, but going to take the Guardians here, minus 122.
Yeah, Dale. I ended up catching the Guardians minus 127 on the money line, Dale. I agree with everything you said. The Mets just been disappointed. Not to rain on your parade, Dale, but just a flat out disappointed thus far. Cleveland, one of the best teams especially in the AL and all of baseball as well. To me, minus 127. Even as of right now, I see the line at minus 130. I think the line is still too short. I wouldn't be surprised if more money comes in tomorrow. So if you can, people, especially the live listeners, take Cleveland right now minus 130.
Yep. Let's go to the next game for me. 2:10 Eastern, Kansas City Royals taking on the
Oh,
Detroit Tigers. Cole Ragan's going for the Royals. Tariq Skubal going for the Tigers. Minus 116 road favorites for the Tigers. Minus 102 for the home team. I think they have this line all wrong. Give me Cole Ragans and the Royals on the money line. I got it at even money at plus 100. Money has come in a little bit on them. By the way, over under is at 7.5. Kind of like the under. Two really good pitchers. But we saw Casey Mize go for Detroit on Tuesday, and he was a really good pitcher, and they just taxed him. They won. I think they put up 10 runs on the Tigers on Tuesday. They had to use a lot of bullpen. So, they're gonna need Tariq Skubal to go give him 6-7 innings at least, because this bullpen is used up. I don't know if he could do that. Kansas City's rolling right now. Bobby Witt Jr. is just an absolute stud. They're 19-8 at home. They just take care of business at home. So gonna take Kansas City right now. I think they're the better team.
Yeah, they're right there. That's the stat I wanted to say. They're 19-8 at home. I agree. I ended up catching Kansas City plus 100 early. To me, they should be the favorite. I want to say Schoolboy.
Yeah.
He's been dealing. Give him credit. He's been dealing. Got a 180 ERA, so give him credit. Started off hot, same way Detroit did as well, but it's been falling off a little bit. And Kansas City still rolling. Kind of shocked Kansas City's been this good so far, but if they're playing this good this late, it's for real. You know? So give Kansas City credit. Give me Kansas City plus 100 on the money line. Still love it at minus 101.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough sample size where teams are going to show you what they truly are. And I agree. I think the Royals are for real. They're live to win the division, honestly. Let's go to my next game. Little afternoon slate now. Miami Marlins taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Freddie Peralta going for the Brewers. Jesus Luzardo going for the Fish. Right now, we got the Brewers favorite on the money line, minus 142 on the road, plus 120 for the Fish. Over under is at 7.5. I got it a little early at 7. Even at 7.5, I still like the over. It's at plus money too, so love it. Miami 7-3 towards the under, towards the over. 19-7 towards the over at home. I mean, their pitching is just horrendous. They give up a lot of runs, and they're able to score 3-4 runs. So they contribute. Freddie Peralta, he started off the season really well, but he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit. 4.17 ERA. I think both pitchers are susceptible to give up some runs. So gonna take the over here. I think the total should be around 8.5, to be honest. So getting some plus money here on the over. That's my third play, kid. What do you got next?
Yeah, I took the Brew Crew on the money line minus 135. Still love it at minus 137. I'm trying to find Peralta's strikeout prop as well. I'll probably lean his over his strikeout props. I took his, in our futures preseason, I took his over. I I think he could have a pretty good outing against the Marlins. I understand started off hot, last few outings been getting rocked a little bit. I expected to bounce back, and I expect the Brewers to take care of business on the road against the poor Marlins. Give me the Brewers minus 135 on the money line.
Yeah, look, there's no props out yet for pitchers or for most players. They'll probably have it out by the morning or during the night. But last 3 strikeouts, he's had 6 against Houston on the road. At home against St. Louis, he had 8 and then 5 against them. He could have it.
6.5.
6.5, yeah, 7. I think he could get it as well. Last game for me. Let's go out to Pittsburgh. The Pirates are hosting the San Francisco Giants. Blake Snell makes his return for the Giants. Jerry Jones going for the Buccos. Minus 120 for the Pirates, plus 102 for the San Francisco Giants. I know they've regressed a little bit, Pittsburgh, but they've won. They finally found that rhythm. They took 3 or 4 from the Chicago Cubs. They took the opening game here from the Giants as well. Coming back home, they got Jerry Jones, who's a stud. I'm going to take them -120 on the money line. Blake Snell has been awful. This is his first time back against a Pittsburgh team that's kind of find their rhythm a little bit here. They just put up 7 runs in the first game. I like their chances here. So -120, I think they have the better pitcher, and I just don't trust Blake Snell in his first return back. So I'm going to take the Pirates here.
All right, Dale. And then my last play of the day, Texas Rangers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Over under sitting at 9.5. Haley on the mound for the Rangers. Walker on the mound for the Phillies. Dale, give me Walker on the mound -137 on the money line with the Philadelphia Phillies. To me, this line, you can say it's a little chalk, but I still love it. Rangers. I do respect Haley, but on the road, I just like Philly at home just a little bit more. I also lean the under. I feel like 10 runs is it's a little too much, even though Phillies have been raking in the ballpark, but 10 runs is just a little too much. I respect the pitchers, and that's pretty much my last play of the day. Deal. I have some leans. I lean Minnesota on the road -135 on the money line. I also lean Baltimore as well, but I don't really love it just because Gibson's on the mound for St. Louis. And then Oakland. I lean Oakland at home against the Rockies at -134 on the money line.
All right. And then one WNBA game, the Fever at Seattle, 10 p.m. Caitlin Clark not off to a good start. She's getting frustrated. 0-4 to start the season. She's on the road taking on Seattle, who's 1-3. They're laying 5. You going back to your girl here, or I don't know, man. I probably would lay it here with Seattle. I just don't trust them. They play no defense, bro.
I liked what I saw, yesterday. Show me some fight against Connecticut. I almost say UConn once again. I tell you what, though, Caitlin Clark was on the way to easily going over. She had 8 points in the first quarter. Second quarter, she got her, whatever was it, a screen or a bump or whatever. Her ankle got rolled.
Yeah.
And then she came back and early in the fourth, and she looked fine. So I think Caitlin, she's getting a rhythm, getting a little more comfortable in the league. But at the end, there's a reason why the Fever had the first overall pick, though.
Yeah.
So I don't expect much from her, but I do expect her to be a little better each game.
Yeah, right now through for the first 4 games, she's averaging 17 points per game, 6.5 turnovers, 5.5 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. Not terrible. The turnovers, we talked about it when she was in college at Iowa. The turnovers have been a problem. I still think she's still figuring it out a little bit. And, these are the best women in the sport. Like, they're picking her up at 30 feet. They're not letting her shoot from the logo. But I agree. I probably would fade her and go under, if anything, under 20 again here. But anything else, kid? That's going to do it for this Wednesday edition.
To be honest, though, let's just hope Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals is as entertaining as Game 1, because I didn't expect the Indiana Pacers to, we see it in the point spread alone, +4, +9.5, 10. So
Yeah.
I just hope Kyrie, Luka, and Kat show up and show out, man. I just want to see a great series, great Game 1s.
I do too. Good luck, Elvis. That is going to do it for this Wednesday edition of the Dream Wager on behalf of Viva Tequila. Elvis, myself. Make sure you guys go follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at the Dream Wager. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give a review, leave in the comments who you'll be betting on Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend, everyone. Have a great few days. Good luck on your wagers. Be safe, be well. We'll see you down the road.